Hello, this is a video on how to play the card game Cheat. It's also known as I Doubt It. And so you need a pack of 52 cards if you're playing with 4 players. If you're playing with more than 4 players, that's fine. You'll just need more than 52 cards. So you'll need an additional deck for every additional 1 to 4 players. And so if you play with 8 players, you'll need 2 decks. If you play with 9 players, you'll need 3 decks. If you play with 12 players, well, then you'll need 3 decks. For every maximum of 4 players added, you will need to add an additional deck. A dealer is chosen, and the cards are shuffled and dealt until all the cards are dealt. Some players may have more cards than other players. That is okay. The first player is the first player dealt to, and so the first player who receives a card is the first player who starts the game. The objective of the game is to be the first player to get rid of all of your cards. A turn consists of a player placing a specific number of face-down cards into the middle of the table from their hand, and making a claim as to what that card's rank is. Such as, if I play these 2 sevens, I would say 2 sevens. Or if I play these 2 sevens, I could say 2 sevens. You are permitted to lie about the rank of your cards, and sometimes you may have to lie if you have no cards of the required rank. The first play of the game must call aces. Subsequent calls must be 1 rank higher, with kings being followed by aces and continuing again in a circle. Once a player has made a claim, every other player has until the next player places their cards down to call cheat or I doubt it, if they think the player was lying about the cards they actually placed down. If a claim is challenged in this way, the cards played by the challenged player are revealed. If the challenge was correct and the player was lying, the lying player must take the entire stack of cards as a punishment. So the entire stack of cards in the middle. So let's say I place down these 2 sevens, because right now, if you look at the right of my screen, I have to place down an ace. Let's say I place down these 2 sevens, and I say 2 aces. If Oliver then challenges me and says cheat, I have to flip up the cards I placed and reveal them. If his cheat challenge was correct and I was lying, I would then pick up every single card in the middle. If the cheat challenge was wrong, and let's say I placed down 2 aces, or let's say I placed down this ace and I said ace, and Oliver challenged and said cheat, I would flip my card and it would show that I was telling the truth regarding the card I placed, in that I placed the card of the required rank truthfully. Thus, his challenge would be incorrect and he would have to pick up all the cards. The first player to empty their hand and not lose a challenge on the final play is the winner. So, if you have, I guess, to sum up the game in a couple of sentences, even though I read out the rules and it is quite simple, but to make it even simpler, the objective of the game is to get rid of all your cards by playing the card of the required rank. Each player plays a card of a higher subsequent rank, and then after the king, you go back down to the ace. You can play any number of cards of the required rank in the middle. You can truthfully play the cards, or you can lie about them and play cards of a different rank, claiming them to be the card of the required rank. In this case, the required rank is ace. I could play these 2 sevens and say 2 aces. If another player thinks you are lying about the card you have played, they can say cheat. Or if you're playing I doubt it, they can say I doubt it. Doesn't really matter. But in this case, we'll just go with cheat. And so they would say cheat. You would flip up and reveal your cards. If you were truthful about the cards you placed in the middle, then the player who called cheat incorrectly called cheat and must pick up the cards in the middle. If the player who called cheat was right about you lying, and you indeed played cards by making playing cards different from the required rank, claiming that they were the required rank, well, you were lying, and a player successfully called you out on it. Thus, you must pick up all the cards in the middle. It is a game of lying and deception, and once again, you want to get rid of all of your cards. If you think someone is lying about the cards they played, you call out cheat. That's the basic essence of it. And so we have to play an ace. We do have an ace, and so I'm just going to play my ace. At any point, if I think a player is cheating, I'm going to say cheat. So she played 2 threes. John played a 4. We must play a 5, and I'm going to play a 6 there as 1-5, and hopefully nobody calls me out on it. So he played a 6. I knew. How did I know that Emma was cheating there? And notice that she was cheating. And so let's just talk about what happened there. So the game continued as normal. Each player, and notice how after every player plays a card, the number on the right increases by 1, showing that you must play a card of a 1 higher rank. And so if I play a 9, Oliver must play any 10s if he can. Emma had to play a 7, and she played 3 7s. Now, players play higher volumes of cards for a number of reasons. They want to get rid of... If you play a larger number of cards, you're closer to getting rid of all your cards than other players. And getting rid of all your cards is what helps you win. However, how did I know to call cheat? I have 2 7s. Emma played 3 cards, claiming that all 3 were 7s. And once you play a card, you also have to announce, right? You claim it, you say 3 7s, or whatever number you have played. Emma claimed 3 7s. Notice how I have 2 7s. If Emma had all 3 7s, that would be 5 7s. That's not possible in a 52 card deck. There are at most 4 7s. And so, just by that alone, I know that Emma was lying, and so I called cheat. That is how I knew she was lying. So I'm going to play these 2 7s and claim them as 9s. Oliver said cheat, and in this case I was willing to go for that risk that Oliver would call cheat because there were no cards in the middle already. And so I was thinking, if there were no cards in the middle, then I have nothing to lose. Even if I get called out for cheat, I only have to pick up these 2 cards. And so I'm going to play these 2 kings here. And you can play any number of cards. Look, Oliver called cheat. Even though... And now let's just let the sequence happen. Oliver called cheat. But I was truthful in the cards that I played. I did indeed have 2 kings. That meant that Oliver had to pick up those 2 cards. If you successfully call cheat and the player is lying, then they have to pick up all the cards in the middle. If you incorrectly call cheat and the player was truthful in the cards they played, the player who incorrectly called cheat picks up all the cards in the middle. Now there's a 4 and we'll play 1 4. 5. 6. 7. I incorrectly called cheat, and so I had to pick up those 2. I had to pick up all those cards, guys, and that was a bad cheat by me. Now we have to play an 8. And Oliver called out cheat, and he was right. And so you have to be strategic in how you call cheat. It's riskier to call cheat when there are a lot of cards in the middle. This is because if you incorrectly call cheat, you will have to pick up all the cards in the middle. However, it is also riskier to incorrectly lie. I mean, no, I guess not incorrectly lie. It is riskier to lie and deceive and play cards that you do not have into the middle when the pile is big. Because if somebody successfully calls cheat, you will have to pick up all the cards in the middle. So now you can just sort of see it going around. It's quite a simple game. Notice that I truthfully played the twos. That means that Oliver had to pick up all of those cards there. And so you can really see that this is quite a simple game. It's not that hard, and there is not much to it. Let's play 2 6s there. Oliver had to pick up all those cards because Emma was truthful. Since she truthfully played the card, that means Oliver's claim of cheat was incorrect. Notice that when a player has one card, you must always call cheat on them. Otherwise, they will win the game. There is nothing to lose. And so, Oliver correctly called cheat on Emma. And when a player only has one card, you want to call cheat. And so in this case, Oliver called cheat. Normally, because you want to call cheat for a number of reasons. Number one, we know that if they only have one card, if nobody calls cheat, they are going to win anyway. So it is beneficial to call cheat. Even if they have played the truthful card, you don't really have anything to lose because if you don't call cheat, they will win anyway. And two, there's a great chance that they are forced to play the wrong card. This is because they only have one card, and it is unlikely that it will match the required rank for that turn. And so notice how John was forced to pick up all those cards. As Oliver incorrectly claimed cheat, he was forced to pick up that card. In this case, I'm going to be forced to pick up my card no matter what because I know that another player is going to call cheat. Yep. And so you can really see that this is quite an easy game. I had to call cheat there. Why was I forced to call cheat there? If I didn't call cheat, it would be my turn. I knew that I didn't have a king. So if I didn't call cheat there, I would have had to lie, and I know that they're going to call cheat on me no matter what. And so if I didn't call cheat on Sean, then some other player would have called cheat on me, and I would have had to pick up all those cards anyway. So it's not like I was essentially losing anything. By risking calling cheat, even if I had to pick up all those cards, I would have anyway, had I played the 4. And so, I didn't lose anything. And so, if you have the last card, it is almost always beneficial to call cheat. That way, if someone calls cheat on you, you only have to usually pick up one card. If you incorrectly call cheat, you don't lose anything because you would have been, somebody else would have called cheat on you and you would have had to pick up that pile on the left anyway. And so he's going to call cheat, but it doesn't matter. I've gotten to the point. And so that sums up how to play cheat. It's quite a simple game. You need a group of 52 cards, and let's just give a quick rundown of the rules again. You need 52 cards for every group of 4 players that are playing. And so if you're playing with 8 players, you need 2 decks. 9 players, you need 3 decks. 12 players, you need 3 decks, and so on. The first player is the player dealt to. A turn consists of a player placing a specific number of face-down cards into the middle of the table from their hand and making a claim as to what those cards rank, I guess what that card rank is. For example, I can place 2 cards and say that they are 2 7s. They are permitted to lie about the rank of these cards, and sometimes they may have to lie if the player has no cards of the required rank. The first play of the game must call aces. Subsequent calls are exactly 1 rank higher, with kings being followed by aces and continuing again. Once a player has made a claim, every other player has until the next player places their cards down to call cheat, or a similar phrase, if they think the player was lying. If a claim is challenged in this way, the cards played by the challenged player are revealed. If the challenge was correct and the player was lying, the lying player must take the entire stack of cards as a punishment. If the challenger was wrong, however, they must take the stack. In that, if a player incorrectly calls cheat, and the player who played the card was actually playing truthfully, the player who incorrectly called cheat must take the stack. Play continues in normal rotation as the next player starts a new pile. The first player to empty their hand and not lose a challenge on the final play is the winner. The game may be continued to determine second and subsequent places, but that's usually not the case. Most of the time, you just play for a winner. There are some variants, but this is the most common version and the most, I guess, the original version of cheat / I doubt it. And that's all. And thank you. And have a great day.